right, wonderful. Well, can you all hear me and can you see my screen? That's what I always like to start with. Okay, some head nods. So excited that you are here and to be joining you. And just as Valerie mentioned, today I'm going to talk a little bit about confidence through uncertainty. You could talk about easing into your steps into Japan. You could talk about comfort as you start to move forward, whatever you want to call it, but take what resonates with you. Leave the rest. I love that you've had different speakers for all of these Hanashikais, that you're able to talk with different senpais, different current jets or alumni jets. This is your story. So craft, you are the author of your own story and you're starting a new chapter, which is so exciting. And I promise you, you will not leave Japan the same way that you went in. And we are all here to support you, to encourage you. So just like that, today I am just going to give you some thoughts of some feedback from what people are saying, right? Current jets, alumni jets, I've gathered their thoughts of how to make you ease into this transition. So I will start with a side note. We have our first jet prep cohort in Japan right now, and they agree confidence didn't come first, right? They were excited. They said, yes, bring me to Japan. I'm so excited. And then they got off the plane. Right? And then there's jet lag. And then they're tired. And there's a lot going on. And there's movement in the trains. And it gets a little bit overwhelming. Trust me, when I went to the Tokyo orientation, I was like, I feel like I'm lost in translation. If you've seen that movie where it's like, I don't even know what's going on over here. But that being said, they agree action came first, confidence followed. So they were able to get into the community. They volunteered, helping build floats for the festivals. You guys are getting there during festival season. They jumped right in. They started to do wellness calligraphy. They thought about, there's a lot going on. It's okay to take a break sometimes as well. Find what works for you. Take a step back sometimes, right? Go into nature, do some Zen, do some yoga. Find how you can find your center. This is what they said. Some people wrote reflections. That's what they did to find their center. A lot of cooking. They said yes, they made mistakes. They went into the school systems. They found what worked when they're working with kids and what didn't. So give yourself some grace. Know that it's just taking that next steps. You guys are there. You're already going to be in Japan. So when you have those opportunities, say yes. They said they struggled through conversations with Japanese. They don't know a lot of Japanese, but they said, you know what? We're going to use some Google Translate and we're just going to go off of the words that we know and we are going to make some good relationships. And they did. They're coming back in a few days, but they said they have had such a great time through this process, this learning journey. So what does confidence really look like? Some people say, well, it's knowing what to do, right? I know how to go into the classroom. I'm going to be just fine. Or having all the answers or speaking perfect Japanese. I say it's trusting yourself to learn as you go. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to build confidence. You're going to look back and reflect on that and grow from it. So give yourself grace in that and know that there are ways to make you feel a little bit more comfortable as you go, though. And that comes with preparation, reflection, and community. So I'm going to go through a couple of these, but that being said, at the end, I do have a link. It's a QR code. If you want, a lot of these are written down so you can go through them. You can check some of these off. You don't have to write anything down. So you could just follow along and enjoy the journey. So preparation. Small actions that can build confidence. You've probably heard many times, practice your self-introduction. I love it. You can practice with people. This is what our participants did as well. They practiced with their family. They practiced with us, and that helped them build their confidence. So those first times in Japan are a little bit easier. You're going to be doing your self-introduction in front of every classroom with all of your boards, everything that you have. So it's good to practice, but Ari, now she is the girl on the right and she's closest to the camera. We just met her in Tokyo. She's a first-year jet in Tokyo. She did say it took her about 4 to 5 months to find her community in Japan, to build that confidence up. But she said on her first couple days that they said, okay, give yourself introduction in English and now in Japanese. So that was a little bit of a shock to her. She wasn't quite ready. So I'm telling you guys, so that you guys could be a little bit ready if you are, your name, where you're from, your hobbies, right? Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. It makes a big difference as you're going. She also said that when she did study abroad, she didn't bring any pictures of her family and friends, and she really kind of regretted that. So she said that you should make a book for you. Yes, some people talk about make these pictures because you can use them in the classroom. I say laminate them so that if they passed around in their classroom, they're not going to be damaged. You're going to have them. They're great for bonding with your new friends as well. So if you have them over for dinner, you go over to their house. These photo books are going to be great to share a little bit about your life. They're great conversation starters. You can bring them into the classroom. And when you just want to see your family and friends, they're going to be there for you as well. Now, some of you have probably already looked at altopedia.net. And if you haven't, definitely recommend this. One of our current Jets said, you know what? He's 6 months into, well, he's over that now. He's almost a year into it. He said at 6-month marker, one of his JTs came up, dropped a booklet on his desk and said, in the next 30 minutes, I want you to find a lesson and teach it in the classroom. And he's like, okay, yes, I got this. But later he said, that was really stressful. He said that was kind of unexpected. So for you guys, if you have a little bit of time right now, explore altopedia.net. That's from current Jets. It's alumni Jets. They've put up lesson plans on there that you can use. So it's good to have. I like to have a backpack of resources because you never know when you might need it or when a JT might say, how about you lead the lesson today? How about you do that, right? Every situation is different. Every person is different. Every JTE is different. You're going to hear that all the time. Our reactions are going to be different to each other. But again, a little bit ways to ease your transition into Japan, give you a little bit more confidence if that does come up. Now, another thing, one of our alumni said, you know what? When I first got to Japan, my first time living on my own, everything's unfamiliar. I ate off of konbini foods and restaurants for a while, but the hardest part was really cooking. It's going into the grocery store. It's finding these ingredients. It's knowing what to cook to nourish our bodies, right? That is so important. We think a lot about moving over to Japan. We think about going into the school systems and teaching. Sometimes we don't think about nourishing our bodies. So that being said, I recommend finding 3 Japanese meals that you can cook. You can find ingredients now. You know what the ingredients are. Tamagoyaki, right? An easy egg omelet. That's a great one to do. I recommend doing that. But besides that, you can be a cultural bridge at your farewell gatherings with your family, with your friends. You can start sharing Japanese meals. It's kind of like saying goodbye and also getting excited for your next step. So I definitely recommend that. So it kind of eases you in. You're going to have something that you can rely on, some comfort food when you go there. So with that, maybe you want to visit a Japanese store. If you have a Japanese grocery store near you, go see it. Often there'll be some English translations next to the Japanese. I think that's a good way for you to know the ingredients that you're going to be looking for when you go to a Japanese store, or talk to people when you first get to Japan. Say, hey, yeah, you want to do a social activity? Let's go to the grocery store with me, okay? And we're going to find the ingredients to these simple Japanese meals that we're going to make. I also recommend learning at least three US meals that you want to share. This is a great way for bonding, to build community. I know that for me, I invited over a Japanese friend. So once a week she came over, we cooked together, and then she taught me some Japanese. Or in the holidays, I'd invite people over and we would cook together. So a great way to get involved in the community is saying, hey, would you like to come over for a meal? So a good way to do that is to have some meals that you can make that are very easy, that you can find the ingredients over there, or you can bring the ingredients if there's a special ingredient from your state or from the US that you need, a spice that you need, you can think about bringing that now. Also, talking about going into the classrooms, if you haven't yet, I check out Mext. Mext has some great ALT classroom videos. They have talked about team teaching, what JTEs hope from each of their participants from the ALTs, what they hope from elementary ALTs and junior high and high school. They have examples of team teaching. So if you haven't seen it, sometimes it's like, I don't even know what I'm doing out here. That's a great place to start, right? It's a great place of what next one of the organization hopes that comes from the ALT position. And finally, write down your why. So I've talked to so many Jets recently, some current and some alumni, and they're like, I don't even remember what I wrote in my statement of purpose. And that's okay, right? Our statement of purpose can change, but it's man's search for meaning. I think it's really important to have that mission, to have that why. One of the current Jets was talking about recently, he knew that he was going to be in ALT for 2 years. He'd already set it in his mind, but he knew he wanted a job in Japan afterwards. So with that goal in mind, immediately at the orientation, he started getting every contact he could. He put it into his line. Then he followed all the clear emails. He went to all the career workshops. He did a translation ceremony, a seminar. So that being said, find your why, write it down. You can break that big goal to little goals and you can accomplish it. And that being said, and I'm saying this because there's a honeymoon period when you get to Japan and then life is normal, right? Oh my goodness, what? It's actually real life, right? There's highs, there's lows, there's challenges, there's amazing days, there's seasons. There's seasons in most of Japan. So when it's cold and dark and snowy and rainy and you're like, what am I doing? You'll have your why. You can go back to your why. You can look at those goals. You can progress towards them. Now, another thing is you're progressing towards your goals, reflection. So many Jets shared that reflection has helped them navigate challenges, celebrate growth, and make meaning of their experiences. So this is Rosella. She's a second year in Ehime, and she said that she writes a calendar. So every day she has things documented. This helps her look forward to things. So a lot of Jets say this really helps them. It keeps on track of things, but it also to look forward to things. And for you guys, before you go, you can mark your parties out, right? So one of Adi in the past picture, she was saying, you know what? It was really great because I spread out my farewell ceremony so I could tie up ends to 6 weeks. Right? I shouted out to everybody, this is my last concert. This is my last festival. This is my group gathering for friends. This is my group gathering for family. This really helped her tie out her ends. And she's already thinking now, she started thinking 1 year, now she's thinking 5 years. She said this really helped her ease into the transition. But when you're over there, it's just as important. This can help you on those challenging days, look forward to things, but also reflection. You can start to process it. What was funny? What are you grateful for? What are your daily wins? What are some of those things that you want to remember? Another alumni said that this reflection journal was the most treasured piece that he took back. He's been out for over 10 years and he still thinks about this reflection journal that he wrote in diligently. So just saying, take what works for you, find your pattern. Some people put it on a calendar. Rosella right here, she likes to write her story. She puts in stickers. She goes into the temples and they have different stamps you can use. That's what she did. However you want to document your journey. Again, you are the author of your story, but this is a great way to start. And this is something that you could actually start right now. So if you're thinking of those reflection questions, you might say, what surprised me? What did I learn? What am I grateful for? What challenged me? What am I proud of? And just so you know, as you're going on, give yourself some grace, right? Mistakes are part of the journey, whether that is getting lost, making language mistakes, awkward moments, unexpected challenges. They're normal. That's learning. That's part of growth, right? We are going to continue to adapt and evolve together. And I really love this picture. This is one of our prospective Jets in a kindergarten because we don't expect kindergartners or children to be perfect or to know everything or to get it all right the first time. No, just like us as humans, right? I think it's important. We're lifelong learners. We're going to learn and adapt and grow together. So give yourself that grace. Know that the first days or the first months or after that honeymoon period, That might get a little bit more challenging, but we have reflection and we also can return to our why. So that is why we have it, right? Why did we apply? What did we hope to learn? What impact do you hope to have? And who do you hope to become? So again, I recommend you write it down now, right? Write down some goals that you would like to achieve while you're in Japan. Is it networking? Is it getting N2 in your Japanese level? And then you can mark that down, see how you could get it. You can talk to people and they can help you get there as well. I think sharing our goals is really important for us to help realize them, right? And then you can read it again in November when it's cold and it's dark. You can read it again in February. You can read it whenever it feels difficult or whenever you just want to remind yourself, okay, what should I do? I have some extra time. A lot of you will have office time, downtime at your desk. So this is a great thing for you to do. You can already know, okay, I know why I'm here. So I want to study Japanese, or I want to make networks. Or one of the participants said, I wish I had gone back and studied more. And maybe use that time to study a little bit. But again, having your why can help give direction. Now, that being said, other things that can help give direction, building your community, your fellow Jets, we are here to support you. Look at this incredible Hanashikai, right? Think of all the Jets that are here that want to share their story. They want to help you get the best foot forward as well. So one of the Jets said, definitely at those orientations, get lines, get your contacts, even these Hanashikais, make connections, because it's not just good for when you're in jet, but who knows what happens afterwards in that job market when you're going forward. So fellow Jets in your prefecture and beyond are there to assist. You're going to have your prefectural advisors and your support staff. You're going to have your teachers and coworkers. Now, these are integral to know the office life, the office work. That being said, great ways to get to know them. Make yourself available. Go out and offer to help them in things outside of classroom, right? Get to know their names, their interests, their hobbies. That's a great way to build that community and connection. And I'm going to go back to the fellow Jets. One of the Jets, I talked about food earlier. He said, you know what? I was in Inaka. Some of you guys are going to be in Inaka. So very rural. And he said, nobody wanted to come visit me. And so what we did, he had his spouse with him, but he said, you know what we did is we said, regularly, we're going to make dinner for everybody. So come on over to dinner at our house. We'll have games afterwards. And then they can stay over if they'd like, and we can do things in the morning. And that helped him build community as well. So sometimes it's taking initiative. Sometimes it's coming up with these new ideas. It's reaching out and asking as well, right? So that being said, you don't have to do this alone. Definitely don't. We're here to support you. I challenge you on that first month, attend one Gent gathering, have lunch with a coworker, ask someone about their community, and exchange contact information. So here's your challenge as you're going. Before you leave, maybe you want to complete one of the preparation activities in the guide or that we mentioned today. Maybe you start a reflection practice, because this could be really good. Or think about wellness. When you are stressed or tired or anxious, what helps you? Is it breathing exercises? Is it talking to someone? I think knowing this and knowing yourself is going to really help ease into your transition into Japan. And you don't have to have everything figured out. You can't, right? You can't. We could do what we can to prepare. There's always going to be surprises. You just need to begin. And know you guys are ready for this. Stay curious, stay connected, keep reflecting, trust yourself to grow. And it comes from taking that first step. So that being said, the first step, if you'd like, you can download this. It is free, so it's all there for you. We're creating this for you. It's a first month confidence challenge guide. It has reflection prompts, practical challenges, and action steps you can take to build that confidence, adaptability, and meaningful connections along your first month in Japan. Small actions build confidence, so you could always just start with one. Now, at the end of that guide as well, if you guys are curious, we do have upcoming connections. We have virtual connections. We're going to have in-person connections. We've been talking with a lot of Jets, current Jets and alumni Jets. They want to have more in-person meetups. So we're looking at Okinawa, Taiwan, Hokkaido. So if you're interested in continuing to develop your community, we are there for you. We're there to support you. And that being said, if you have ideas, all of this came from your ideas. We're also going to send out a recipe book. As I was talking about those recipes, Japanese, US dishes, we're going to send that out to you. So if you sign up just an interest list, we can send it to you, but you can also send your ideas to me anytime. We're creating this with you. We want to make it the best possible experience for you. So thank you again for joining us, for being here, for being curious already, curious enough to come to these Hanashikais to talk to each other and to build this community. You're going to have an amazing time, and I wish you all the best. All right, so thank you so much, and I'll pass it back over to you.